Sweet love, renew thy force. Be it not said thy edge should blunter be than appetite, which but today by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his former might. So, love, be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes even till they wink with fullness, tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which parts the shore, where two contracted new come daily to the banks, that when they see return of love, more blessed may be the view. As call it winter, which being full of care, makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare. With respect to the sad interim represented here, the octave stands for time, today, tomorrow, and the third quatrain stands for space, the ocean, which parts the shore. The couplet offers a mediating tertium quid, not the impossible succession of reassuringly identical days of love, today, tomorrow, prayed for in the octave, nor the desolate daily vacancy of the ocean endured in the third quatrain, but rather the succession of spacious contrasting seasons, winter followed by summer. The couplet tie is hopefully constituted of fill, fullness, come, welcome, and more. There is also a persistent repetition throughout the sonnet of the words be, being in the couplet, and love. Come being fill love with more is the message of the words reiterated in the couplet, reinforcing by repetition the import of the body of the sonnet. One can see be as a key word. The cause of the sad interim separating the lovers is not specified, but its result is a fear that love may have lost its force. This fear is somewhat unbelievably displaced from suspicion of the waning affection of the other onto the fidelity of the self. If physical appetite needs daily food, should love be any the less desirous? How can love lose its appetite? Can love hunger become a blunted edge? This odd connection through the idea of sharpness, of love's appetite to a knife with a potentially blunted edge, turns up more mysteriously in Sonnet 95. These questions are those one asks when one has been deserted. They are asked normally of the absent other, not of the self. In addressing his own power to love as sweet love, the speaker can indirectly address the beloved in a concealed plea. The shift from time, the first and the second quatrain, to space in the third quatrain, tracks the modulation from physical appetite allayed by feeding to hungry eyes assuaged by seeing, a change which responds to an adjustment of argument from physically appetitive, corporeal force to contractual, personal, marital, and legal love. In this manner, the speaker shifts from a model of lust to one of love. When one metaphor, two lovers contracted new, who come daily hoping to see each other, displaces another, love needing to fill its appetite every day, it is because something in the first metaphor seems inadequate in descriptive amplitude or accuracy. Notably, here, its emphasis on physical appetite alone. When the second, more satisfactory because personal, metaphor, the daily looks of betrothed lovers on opposite banks of the ocean, is itself newly displaced by a third metaphor, summer after winter. We have to ask what has been unsatisfactory about the second. We discover that the second spatial metaphor is unsatisfactory because it, like the first, temporal one, cannot guarantee the return of love. The fear in the octave has been that of a perpetual dullness, in which the appetite for love would never reappear. The metaphor of the third quatrain has spoken more favorably of a sad interim between presence and return of presence, but the interim has been of an unspecified duration. The final couplet metaphor here, like that of the seldom coming, but nonetheless joyfully predictable feasts of the year in Sonnet 52, is that of a foreseeable return at a confidently known seasonal time, the return of summer after winter. The fullness of care in winter makes one long even more for eyes filled with fullness of seeing. The eye as a vessel that can be filled till it winks with fullness, compare this to Sonnet 114, brimming with tears of joy, may have suggested the waters of the separating ocean. The gluttony of physical appetite has been chastened by the end into a legitimized happiness at the refruition of the earth at a seasonable time after the deprivation care of winter. The only guarantee that the force connecting two persons is that of settled love, not temporary lust, is the willingness to enter into a contract to marry and to remain together in perpetuity, ensuring by legal means that tomorrow will resemble today, or at the least that return of presents will arrive as predictably and joyfully as summer follows winter. The yearning of a heterodox form of attachment to be a socially sanctioned one is visible here as elsewhere in the sequence, for example, Sonnet 116.